Oh, well, that's probably a mistake. Are we live?
We couldn't
That's
possibly be
why
live.
I like sure.
We are now live. I can
Got
hear you.
Okay. I think we're all ready to go then.
The adventurers have in fact assembled.
They have indeed.
Assembly.
All right. Here we go then. Hello, lovely people who have gathered already. Welcome to the new Assembled Adventurers game. I am your dungeon master for this evening, or your game master for this evening. I'm probably going to regret my choices in the next 10 minutes, but we'll see. We're just going to crack on with this. We're raising money today for British Red Cross, which is going to be the charity that we are supporting while this campaign runs. And this will be a campaign, so this is going to be an ongoing game. We hope to have fortnightly, as long as our schedules allow us. I will introduce you to my players, but first I'll introduce the game to you guys and to them. As we start Hell's Rebels. So in Galarian, in the Empire of Cheliax, a nation known for its tyranny and for its rather zealous worship of devils, there is a small city-state called Kintargo. It stands apart from Cheliax as a city of sedition and silver, separated from the nation by rugged Menador mountains as surely as by a wide gulf of culture. I'm definitely not reading this from a book. The city has long been known as a haven for artists, particularly composers, directors, and musicians, eager to expand on Cheliax's operatic traditions. During the Chalish Civil War, a group of Kintargan patriots called the Silver Ravens fought to keep the city safe, but at this point they are all but forgotten. Nowadays, the city has been living its best life up until about 2 or 3 weeks ago, when the previous Lord Mayor disappeared in the dead of night. Many have assumed to have been to flee the city, only to be replaced by Harakant Barzilai Thrune, a zealot of Asmodeus himself, who has decided to very much show off his power and instill his new regime in the once free, liberal, and beautiful city of Kintargo. Within 2 weeks, he has already established martial law. He's established a curfew, and he has started to instill and throw out various proclamations, each one more ridiculous and intrusive as the last, which we'll go into later. The tension in the city came to a head about a week ago during a tragic event known as the Night of Ashes, where guards and soldiers took to the streets. Fighting broke out all across the city, and there were fires and arson attacks in various random spots. Nothing has been the same since, and the tension has been building up and up and up in the city until we get to today. Outside the Opera House in the heart of Kintargo, at the northern end of Aria Park, a protest is beginning to brew, and that is where we meet our players. So, just for the fun of it, and so we've got something nice to see on the screen, here is Aria Park. So if my players would like to place themselves down in the park, just to let you know, it just looks like a park now. Obviously, you've got the guards down at the front, but this entire place is crawling with people. It is hustling and bustling with various people of various different voices and loyalties and everything else. which does mean that if you are planning on moving through, while we're in this freeform point, it won't matter as much. But when we do, if we do get to anything a bit more exciting, you are going to have half movement, just to let you guys know, because of how busy it is. But in the meantime, let's start with what actions you want to take in the protest. So let me just get to this part. Here we go. So while you are here at the protest, you can do a number of different actions. I've only got 4 of you on my map. No, I've got 5 of you on the map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Over here.
Okay, who am I missing?
My thing's gone a bit funny.
No, I've got you on there, Wist. All right.
Alright,
We'll start with. All right, we'll start with the person on the bench, seeing as they're the farthest away from the action, Aurora. You can listen for rumors. You can pilfer. You can rabble rouse. You can search for a contact, silence undesirable elements, or you can watch the crowd. What would you like to do?
I think Evie is just relaxed on the bench, just watching the crowd and seeing what's happening.
Okay, cool. Do you want to just very quickly describe your character while I check what you can do, what that does for you?
Okay, so Evie is a human. They have sort of a white with golden yellow trim. Sort of, if you think a sort of almost a business suit, that's pretty close to what they're wearing. With a flat cap on, tucked underneath is their long red ponytail. They are just very relaxed and like they haven't been in the city very long. The stupid curfew makes it impossible to leave, so they're just keeping an eye on things. Maybe something's gonna fall out of this. Maybe a riot will happen.
Cool. All right. Well, while you are watching the crowd, you can make either a perception or a sense motive check for me.
Oh boy, I think they're both pretty bad.
But we'll see what
Ooh,
happens.
I'll go with a perception, I guess. I'm literally watching the crowd.
It's
Yeah.
it's a real busy crowd. It's a real busy. It's really loud here as well. It's
I'm
loud.
not used to the city.
It's loud. It's busy. Like everyone's got just. Yeah, you haven't been able to get a chance to settle in yet, and this is probably the most volatile you've seen the city so far. So it's just all a little bit overwhelming for you at the moment. So while we do that, we will move on to Johnny. If you can very quickly describe your character for me.
So there's a very tall humanoid figure wearing very large sort of overcoat with like a shoulder cape and a very sort of voluminous hood that conceals a lot of their features. But you can just sort of see like a face recessed in the hood that has skin that's a slightly unusual shade with almost like a stereotypical sort of slightly twirled mustache and pointy little goatee beard, quite a hooked nose. The clothing that's underneath the coat is kind of something you'd expect nobility to wear, but it looks a good few seasons sort of out of date, and it looks very worn and weathered, like it's definitely not sort of recently made. They are kind of sort of skulking near the bushes.
Okay. And would you like to listen for rumors, pilfer, rabble rouse, search for a contact, silence undesirable elements, or watch the crowd?
Watch the crowd at the moment.
Okay, cool. Make me a perception or a sense motive check, please.
I'll go for perception.
Okay, cool. So, at the moment, with the fact that everybody has gotten here, this is like the crowd has gotten big enough that you know the protest has properly started, but it's still very much in like the early stages of the energy building up. You can see that the general mood around you is agitated and discontented. There doesn't seem to be like a particular vibe for violence at the moment. So it's just that very much all the energy that has been in the city for the past couple of weeks is now concentrated into this event, but that's all that you're really getting at the moment.
Okay.
Rachel, should we move to you? First of all, if we describe your character.
Yeah, sure. So Whist is currently sitting on the edge of this fountain here. He is a gnome, very long ears and a huge wide-brimmed wizard's hat. It's made out of green felt and it kind of looks a little bit worse for wear. He's wearing an extremely long, voluminous wizard's robes. With the long sleeves and the robes going right down to the floor, kind of wrapped around himself. And he's also wearing a big scarf that's wrapped around his neck as well. He carries a staff which is more like, it's kind of more like, rather than being like a grand wizard staff, it's more like he'd gone to the nearest tree, got the nearest branch he could and just like pulled it down. For all intents and purposes, he looks like a very new wizard. And he's kind of glancing around awkwardly at the crowd. He's got long blue hair that's tied back in a braid that runs down his back. And he's kind of scanning left and right, looking at the faces, trying to see if he can spot his contact. And he would like to make a sense motive roll, if he may.
Okay, you're trying to spot your contact?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
I definitely said meet by the fountain, and this is the only fountain I can see, so...
Okay, yeah. So, to spot the contact, at this point it would be a perception check, not a sense motive check.
I'll make a perception check, I'm happy with that. And I get a bonus to this. What was that, sorry?
You get a bonus, so because you are trying to meet your contact, you get a +2 to this perception check.
Okay, so it'll be whatever this is, +2. So that'll be a 17, please.
Okay, let's have a look. So right now, you're not entirely sure who this contact is that you're trying to look for. You have been told that you're meant to be wearing you're meant to be meeting somebody who is wearing a black leather glove on their right hand and no glove on their left hand. So that's what you're looking for.
Okay.
Right now, you cannot see anybody who matches that description. So, in the meantime, would you like me to use that for a watch the crowd action to see if you spot anything in the crowd while you're looking for your contact?
Sure. Yeah, I think he'll kind of be just looking out, like more or less like sizing up the crowd, like just kind of where the pockets of various people are. I mean, often at protests you get like the people who are up the front, maybe some families towards the back. Like where are people kind of spread out? Where are the sort of different groups?
Well, while you're trying to look for that, you're trying to look for these different groups, you actually see somebody kind of weaving through the crowd. It isn't your contact. At the first, you kind of catch onto them because they're moving away, they're not moving in the groups. So that's why your eyes latch onto them first. And they're not wearing any gloves. They're wearing a pair of gloves. They're not just wearing one glove. So you're about to look away right before you see their hand slip out and swipe someone's purse.
Not into that.
Would you like to do anything with that?
Okay. Let me think. How big are they? Genuinely.
They are a humanoid, as in they are a medium-sized human.
Okay. I'm in quite a big crowd. I'll kind of walk up to them and I'll say, oh, so sorry, but I think you might have dropped something. And I'm going to say it to them, but I'm also going to say it to the person that they nabbed it from.
So you say it to them. You say it to the person that they've just stolen from. The pickpocket who you've very gently accosted just kind of takes a step back from you and just there like kind of looks you up and down for a second, like they're about to like turn on you, and then they like see the hat and like they like kind of have to take a second to take in your stature, which is about enough time for the person they've just pickpocketed to have a look and realize that their purse is missing. At which point they start yelling, "Where's my purse? Where's my purse?" And the pickpocket bolts.
Okay.
Or the pickpocket attempts to bolt, as it were.
Yeah.
Luckily, the crowd is very busy because there are a lot of people packed in here. So they try to move and they immediately like hit up against the bodies who are now turning around at this sudden screaming going on about somebody missing their purse.
Did they happen to run towards whoever this person is?
You know what? They probably do.
Yeah. I'll say, oh, I think they might have picked it up.
Okay. Tell you what. I've also just noticed. I'm going to bring this up now. Thursday, is that you next to the guards?
No, this is me over here.
Okay. Who is this person next to the guards?
Two.
Okay, cool. You're not going to be allowed next to the guards.
I am disguised as a guard.
All right. I'll make you roll that check in a second. So yeah, your pickpocket tries to run for it. The person that they've just stolen from goes after them, is probably about to bump into that person. But first, let's actually deal with Mitu, seeing as you're next on my list. So can you make that disguise check for me real quick? Because this might determine what your action is, and it's not in the book.
Is the 17.
Okay. I've just accidentally
Personal
gone out
perception
of
someone
the
walking
game.
out
Of course
there.
I did. All right, let me just very quickly. Oh look, okay. So the person next to you is looking at you suspiciously. Like they're very much holding their position, scanning the crowd, but their eyes keep turning to you as if they're trying to. It's like they're trying to place you at the moment, and they can't right now, and it's making them nervous. This is the person to your left, by the way. Do you want to deal with that, or do you want to pick up one of the normal actions in the list? I will say that this is your action for this turn, so.
So what I will probably do is direct their attention towards the sudden shouting coming from the crowd
Okay.
and see if I can draw their eye away.
All right. They see the shouting in the crowd, and then they nudge you and kind of nod their head as if, let's go deal with it. We're both dealing with it.
Okay,
Cool.
that's what I shall do then.
Right then. Which does then mean that because the two of you get there, you're able to catch the pickpocket before they dive into the crowd for good. One of you drags over drags the pickpocket back. The other one takes the purse off, hands it over to its original owner. To which Whist, you get a lot of thanks for helping with that.
Yeah, like Whist kind of looks a bit embarrassed and like kind of just hides under the brim of his hat, and he goes, "Oh, no, it's fine." And we'll just kind of shuffle backwards, trying to melt into the crowd. Not super happy that these two guards are now here, to be honest.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So the guards. So I would say, Mitu, that you're the one that grabbed the person and handed it back. The other one has grabbed the pickpocket, and now they've turned around to you and they go, "Let's get this one. Let's get this one in for custody now."
I'll look over and say, I will do a sweep through and make sure this isn't an endemic problem.
Roll a bluff for me.
Ooh, 18, not bad.
Okay. They look like they don't believe you. Like you say that, and like they look at the thing, they look at you, and they say, "This guy's a runner. Looks like he's going to need two of us."
Fair enough. And I will assist.
The two of you go and drag off this pickpocket out of the crowd, and to a point where a couple of other Datari can take the pickpocket and send them away somewhere you don't know where. As this guard has decided that he's going to stick to you like glue for the time being. And while you deal with that, we're going to move on to Thursday. If you'd like to describe your character for us.
My character is a war priest of Caden Kalian called Gideon Greaves. Mostly in black. I think I'm the only person that's openly wearing armor, or I'm wearing a very large cloak that conceals the bulk of it. And I am carrying a rapier. I probably have the look of a sellsword, mercenary to most eyes. I'm from Andorran.
Okay.
Have a Chelish accent.
Oh, by the way, you just reminded me then, Mitty, because you're disguised as a guard, are you wearing armor?
Yes.
Cool. Alrighty. I'll get a proper character description from you when you're not disguised, if that's okay.
No problem at all.
Cool. In that case, Thursday, Gideon, what would you like to do? Would you like to listen for rumors, pilfer, rabble rouse, search for a contact, silence undesirable elements, or watch the crowd?
Given my objective is to try and protect civilians, it would probably be watch the crowd, because there's almost certainly going to be some form of counter infiltration or something.
Okay. If you can make a perception or sense motive roll for me, then please.
I would like to make sense motive.
Okay.
Try.
Just roll. Not. We're starting that early, apparently. So, you know what? You do actually pick up on the exact thing that you're looking for. You can't quite work out who it is yet, but as you're going through this crowd, as this crowd is bustling around you, and as you're kind of like trying to pick up on all these voices and things, you do notice there is there is this like kind of movement in the crowd that doesn't seem natural. Like it seems like there is an organizing force among the people that has set your alarm bells ringing in your head about there being some sort of counterforce or something else going on in this crowd. It isn't just people being very loud and discontent. And I'm going to make a note of something here, and because of that, while Andrew, Would you like to describe your character?
Sure. So Sebastian is standing on the edge of the crowd. He's wearing some nice sort of merchant clothes. Those of keen eye might notice that recently perhaps a small amount of embroidery has been picked out of the shoulders. He's got some fairly epic facial hair. His hood is back at the moment, so you can clearly see it. He has a notepad out and a quill pen, and he's drawing 5-bar gates and seems to be looking at how many people are walking past him along a piece of road, as if he's doing some sort of attendance survey. He looks just like your typical young merchant around town. Nothing
Okay.
special.
Okay. So are you watching the crowd, or are you doing something else with your action?
I feel that's a watching the crowd.
Yeah. Perception science motive for me then, please.
Let me just see. Am I marginally better? Either no, they're the same. 23.
Okay, so apparently two of you, like we're basically into the first hour of this protest, and both you and Gideon have both able to get a sense for this strange movement through the crowd of something else is kind of almost making the crowd move. It's not moving in a way that you normally see crowds move, especially crowds that are this big. Like there is definitely something else orchestrating the movement here.
Well, that's totally fine. This is a peaceful protest. I will just keep making my notations.
Okay. Brilliant. I love that. So yeah, so that is the first hour of the protest passes with the pickpockets playing out. The rest of you are watching the crowd or looking for certain people or trying to get any kind of read. The sun starts to climb higher in the sky as the crowd itself gets louder, all pointed at the opera house itself. I forgot to mention this earlier, but at the opera house itself, the reason why you have all gathered here is even though there is a house designated for the Lord Mayor and there are offices designated for the Lord Mayor in the government part of the city, Lord Mayor Thrune has taken upon himself to take up residence in the opera house itself, which is why you are all gathered here specifically to tell Barzillai Thrune how much you disapprove of all of his decisions up until this point. So as the crowd gets louder, the day starts to get hotter. More and more and more people have been drawn into this crowd, into this protest. Aurora, would you like to do any other actions?
I think if it's getting hotter and there's more people here, Evie is genuinely just like on this bench, like quite relaxed, enjoying like a cool breeze coming in from like the water nearby, and just not really paying that much attention anymore.
Oh, all right. Well, it is still very much busy. Like it's less busy at your end because you're literally next to the lake, as it were. But it is still very busy and stuff around you. Would you like to? So again, I'll run through the options. So you can listen for rumors, you can pilfer, you can rabble rouse, search for a contact, silence undesirable elements, or watch the crowd.
I think like flat caps over eyes. I'm gonna listen for rumors.
All right. Okay. Because are you going to be talking to anybody, or are you just literally listening in?
Just listening.
Cool. Then make me a perception check, please.
That's worse than before. 3. I might have actually fallen asleep.
You put your fat cap over your eyes. You kind of lean your chin on your hand, and then you blink, and the sun's moved another hour in the sky.
Happens, you know.
It just happens. It's a really warm day in your defense. Asmoth, we're back to you. What would you like to do as the protest begins to grow and swell and get louder around you? Do you want me to go through the options again?
No, I'm good. Is the sort of the crowd near me sort of getting fairly thick?
Yeah, the crowd everywhere, like everywhere is thick except for yeah, you're over there. The crowd is probably a little thinner around the trees, but it is
I'm gonna-
close enough that you can slip into the thick parts of the crowd.
Yeah, so I'm going to start moving into sort of the thicker parts of the crowd and pilfer.
Now you're pilfering. All right, you can make me a sleight of hand check.
Yep.
And you do get a +2 to this.
I hesitate to mention it, but he is but a mere 20 feet from me at the time that this occurs.
There are 15 feet of people between you.
Sure.
So it's going to depend entirely on what his sleight of hand is, probably. All right, I will give you the choice. You can either have attempted a steal, or you can have tried to go for one and you're not quite right at the right angle to be able to get something off somebody stealthily. So you can either try leave the purse pouches where they are, or try and go for one anyway and risk being spotted.
Smart enough to know not to chance it.
right.
Would definitely be sort of like glancing brush, and then maybe not.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. That's fine. Okie dokie. Whist, your second turn in this protest, as you're definitely noticing the crowd's getting bigger and thicker around you. Obviously, you're still staying on the fountain, trying to give yourself as much of a chance to see what's going on as possible because you're just a little guy.
Yeah, he's kind of as the sun's continue to move across the sky, he's probably moved one spot to keep in shade, given that this is all very exposed and it's getting very hot. So he's just kind of moving around with the sun, shifting slowly along the side of the fountain, trying to look for his contact.
All right, so you're making a search for contact. Roll again for me.
Yes, please.
Cool. That will be another perception check, please.
So +2 to this.
Yep.
That's a dirty 20.
All right. So you think you spot someone. You think you spot somebody brush past you with a glove that matches the what you've been told in your head, and they're moving through away from you in the crowd.
Okay. I'll kind of move along after them. Sure. Let's see where this goes. Hopefully this won't be really awkward and it isn't the guy and then I miss them and by the time I come back they've already gone home. That would be awful. But I'll trust my gut. I'll follow it along.
All right, cool. So you try to slip into the crowd, trying to follow this guy for a couple of minutes. Before there's a little break in the crowd and you're able to see this person properly, and they are indeed wearing 2 gloves.
Absolutely good. I'll shuffle, I'll just shuffle my way back, just
as you
try not to look too sus with my weird walking forward to just go back again.
So, as you are heading back to your spot on the fountain, all these voices are coming in around you, and you hear, and this one voice kind of seems either a little bit closer or a little bit louder, a little bit louder or closer than the others, and you hear this person complaining about Clenched Jaws Tavern. They're just saying it's gone real bad, guys. It's gone real bad. I used to love drinking there. It was always a nice place to relax. But the night of ashes happened, and now the place is crowded, and the politics talk has just exploded. And don't get me started on the brawls. It's every night, basically, at this point. There's enough fighting on the streets. I don't need them while I'm having a beer as well, as you continue to move back to the fountain.
Cool.
All right. Mitsu, you have possibly landed yourself in a spot of bother. What would you like to do about it?
So I think at this stage, I'm just pretending that the other god hasn't cottoned onto me yet.
Okay.
I'm relying on the fact that there's bigger things to worry about.
Okay.
So just resolutely stuck military still, looking over the crowd and trying to see if we can pick out troublemakers.
Are you listening for rumors? Are you silencing undesirable elements, or are you watching the crowd?
So assuming that silencing undesirable elements is like trying to de-escalate in my case, hearing someone go oh, I'm gonna throw a rock at the guards, and going hey, not a good idea.
Okay, so are you wanting to silence undesirable elements then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Make a bluff or intimidate check for me.
Let's go for intimidate.
Okay, let me check if you've got a. All right. Well, you probably don't need any bonuses anyway. Let me double check who we've got in the crowd. All right. So, all right, here we go. So, you've been watching the crowd long enough at this point that you've been able to kind of pick out what the main voices are, what the main groupings are, as it were, the people who are at this protest. So there are Kintargo partisans who despise Chiliax's tightening grip on the city and demand local rule again. There are economic conservatives who feel the squeezes through, who is basically because the martial law has come in, because everything else has come in. The economy is already suffering, and it's only been 2 weeks. And the economic conservatives have concerns about the way the economy is going while martial law is in place. There are advocates of democracy who are very much they're revealing their disdain at the fact that Thrune wasn't appointed by your election. He was just appointed. The Lord Mayor disappeared, and somebody just plonked Thrune in place. There was no election, there was no nothing to get him into that position, and people have taken offense to that. You start to hear anarchists who are trying to rouse up for a riot. And you can also hear Chelish loyalists who are supporting Thrune's actions to the city's current dissentious streak, the kind of almost streak, the kind of Kintargo's nature against being a Chelish loyal to Cheliax. They think Kintargo thinks of itself as kind of separate and is Chalish reluctantly, and the Chalish loyalists have issue with that. So, of those 5 distinct factions, which one would you like to point out and try to get to keep down with your intimidate check, considering where you are and considering that there is a guard watching you?
So it is likely going to be the anarchist group out of that one, and it's primarily as a concern of I do not want this protest to get violent, because it will get bloody very quickly.
Okay. What happened then is basically, as you guys are watching, there's a small group kind of pushing through the crowd, screaming for things that sound like they're rebellion and sound like they're for protest and freedom, but you can tell that these people are just trying to stir up trouble. So you can literally just step out of the line and just scuff a couple of them, and with the rest, with your intimidate check as well, they kind of look up at you, and a couple of them blanch over when they realise how close they got to the Datari. A couple of the other Datari come up to basically back you up as you try to silence this little group of anarchists, and they scurry off into the crowd, tails between their legs. All right, Gideon, what would you like to do?
I would like to try and remove some of the subversive elements that are trying to turn this into a riot.
Okay, how would you like to do that?
Which option is it that
So-
mitigates it?
So you silence undesirable elements.
Yeah, that seems like it probably covers it best.
Okay. Who are you aiming for then to try to silence? Are you gonna try to silence some anarchists as well, or are you gonna try and go for a different group?
Probably the loyalists.
Okay, cool. So your options are bluff or intimidate to try to silence one of these, to silence the loyalists.
They are equally bad.
Okay, well, I think
Before I
you get a
do
bonus to
that-
one of them. You do. Oh, you get a bonus to both of them.
Yeah.
Because of
Can I, before I go to this cast guidance for a +1?
because this is an action that takes place basically over an hour, I'm gonna say no.
That's reasonable. Cool, right? I guess it's intimidation time, baby. Just roll high.
Intimidation time.
I don't roll high.
Cool. The loyalists laugh you off.
An 8.
Yeah. You go up to them, you try to tell them to how would you approach this? How would you try to tell these that to try to get these loyalists to kind of stay in line, as it were?
It's a good old fashioned fuck off.
All right, they laugh in your face. Unfortunately.
Time for the killing frenzy to begin. No, not yet.
They laugh in your face. One of them goes to try to shove you, but you are still strong mercenary type, so they don't actually shove you into the crowd. But one of them tries to shoulder check you as they carry on, completely taking you as a slight amusement before they carry on with their day and their protest. Andrew, Sebastian, what would you like to do? Oh, you're muted.
I'm muted.
I was muted. I apologize. Is it so busy that I can observe none of the actions of other members of the player party sort of playing out? Is it just, am I isolated, or can I see some of this other stuff going on?
What is it you're trying to? What is it that you're wanting to? Are you wanting to spot the person trying to pickpocket?
No, I was actually thinking that there's a person here who I know who appears to have got themselves possibly in some bother, but who is wearing a helmet which I might not be able to see past.
Okay.
so-
Okay, hang on. What was your disguise check?
17.
Okay, cool. Roll a. What is it? Is a perception check to see through it past a disguise. So roll a
Yeah.
perception check for me to see if you can see past the disguise. You will be taking negatives because there is a crowd.
Yeah, sure.
It's a crowd between you. They are Datari. You are paying attention to the guards.
Yeah. I do not roll well. I do not know.
No. So no, you do not notice. You do not notice your friend among the guards, I'm afraid.
That's totally fine. In which case, I think I'm going to I've now got a pad which is just covered in tally marks.
Okay.
I'm going to take a few steps back, lean against the tree I'm close to,
Mhm.
and just I think just listen for some rumors. See what's
Okay.
happening.
Cool. That's a second perception check for me then, please. Let's see if you roll higher.
I hope so, but we never know. Well, that's a lot higher. That's 12 points
Oh,
higher.
that is higher. That is higher. Okay, hang on. Let me check. Yeah, okay, cool. Random rumor time.
Yeah.
Random
Love a
rumor
rumor.
time. Cool. All right. So you hear a rather gruff voice nearby. So there's a couple of people complaining about something near you. And the one voice that you catch in on just says, "Looks like Thrune's bringing public excruciations to Kintargo. I can't imagine that'll increase his popularity around these parts, even if it's the criminals he punishes do deserve it. This dog housing thing sounds particularly nasty."
I think I would blanch a bit at the idea of excruciations, particularly dog-related ones. That sounds awful. The worst possible outcome. But I'll be pleased to have heard this rumor.
Okay. I'm just going to very quickly check something. All right, it's not popping up where I want it to. So the second hour passes. The protest again grows. Actually, at this point, what I will do is I will let you guys, as we're getting into the second hour of this, just for free, make a perception check for me.
I have
So-
notes for this perception check. Well,
No
I
idea.
rolled higher than normal.
All right.
That's a natural 20, but with a +2 will be a 27.
Whist alone, as the crowds are mingling, as the crowd is growing, as the voices get louder. One of the voices does seem to be quieter now. You are hearing less calls for anarchy among the crowd. But it is the tension itself is still growing. Whist alone sees there is a window at the opera house, basically balconied, a small balcony with a window behind it that is currently curtained, and you look up just as you see the curtain pull back a little bit, and you just see a shadowed figure watching the crowd before they pull away again. As we get past the second hour of this protest, and we get into the third hour. Aurora, would you like to do anything else?
I will wake up.
Yeah.
That's the start of this hour.
Yeah.
Have my power nap. I'm ready to go.
What power nap, though?
I mean, I realise that it's lunchtime, so I pull out my packed lunch, and I'll just start chatting with people on the bench, and see if I can get any rumours that way.
Okay, well, that will be a diplomacy check.
Finally, a skill I have a positive modifier to. That's a 5. That's a 5 total. Yep.
If only it helps. Even with your +2 from your extra situational bonuses, you're trying to cozy up to these people and start to try to chat with them. But there's so much noise right now. You literally cannot pick out the voices of the people right next to you. It's like you take the busiest pub you've ever been in and multiply it by 10, and that's the sound that's happening right now.
Also, like my meal of onion bhajis, smoked haddock, and like raw halibut is not going down well with everyone
It's
else.
really not. Oh, why would you do that to these poor people? All right, Asmoth, what would you like to do?
Gonna carry on.
You're going to do another pilfer.
I'm gonna carry on trying to pick a pocket or two.
I pick a pocket or two. Roll me a sleight of hand, please. Okay.
Ooh.
This is not going well for
Uh-oh.
me.
Andrew, would you like to make a perception check for me, please?
I would be delighted.
Because that was a natural one. Cool. So you see a shady mother effer about 20 feet away from you in the crowd, looking like they're about to go for somebody's pocket.
Okay, I will walk over and say, excitingly, you are my 1000th tally mark, so you've won a small prize. If you'd like to step this way, sir.
This is between you two now.
Just kind of sort of calmly look up and just be like, "What do you require?"
Just step this way underneath this fine tree, and I will present you with a small cash prize.
Do I get a sense motive check against that?
Of course.
And you know what? I let him roll a perception to spot you doing the stealing. I can do a sense motive and bluff for me accordingly.
So that's a 20 on the bluff.
Yeah, and I was like, no chance that's gonna work.
Nah. Now, like, you can kind of look at this guy, and he genuinely seems to. You can't read any lie of him at the moment. Like, he just genuinely seems like an excitable bureaucrat, which in itself seems like an oxymoron, and yet you're looking at him. And he just wants you to step off into this tree, and he's going to give you some money.
This feels like it's against Asmoth's better judgment, but it's just sort of like at the same time, it's like, I do need money.
All right. So at this point, I'll probably ask for you guys to take your tokens and put them next to each other. There we go. I'm actually giving him anything, Sebastian.
I'm going to give him a couple of silver pieces, and I'm going to lean in as I hand them to him and say, "That was so clumsy, even I could see it. You're going to get killed by these guards."
Desperate times.
Well, as I press the 2 silvers into your hands, you're not quite so desperate now.
Thank you, my friend.
Are you truly more desperate than that?
These are lean times, and
Look, I don't know how long this is going to go on or what's going to happen, but perhaps you would meet me at a tavern afterwards and we can discuss your situation. I'm not unsympathetic.
That is a most generous offer. Certainly, I'll take you up on it.
I will name a common tavern in a not particularly salubrious part of town.
Honestly, the one that probably pops into your head because it's the most popular at the moment is Clenched Jaws. It's over in the harbour.
Yep. That's a perfectly sensible place for us to meet. Look, I'd rather not see you hurt. I'd rather not see somebody who can't afford it lose their livelihood. Good luck.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay. And as this plays,
Asmoth will offer to shake hands.
I will shake his hand.
So he's wearing like some leather gloves, but you feel like there's something. Like the fingers feel slightly, not so much the fingers feel like they go on longer than they should do at the tips.
I mean, I think he has a grip a little bit like wet lettuce. Like you feel mighty in your in the firmness of your handshake.
oh no, Sebastian is such a sweetie. Okay, cool.
Congratulations, you've described the worst handshake in the universe between you.
It
All
did make
right.
me inwardly cringe, yeah.
As you two have that moment in the middle of this crowd under this tree, Wisp, what would you like to do?
I mean, I'm still waiting for this contact, which is the main reason I'm here. So I think I'd do that. But is it getting on for lunchtime? Did you say?
It is pretty much like midday at this point.
Yeah. So I think like he'll like he's been sitting on this fountain for several hours now.
Yeah.
We're just going to move around a bit more as the shadows move. and he'll get chatting with whoever happens to be sitting next to him, just trying to pass the time, trying not to worry in case his contact just isn't coming, and he'll have a chat and see if he can pass the time. Hope they appear in a moment.
All right. So at this point, then, just to clarify, are you wanting to search for contact or listen for rumors? Like, which of those two actions?
I think this is probably listen for rumors, because I guess, like, his contacts asked him to meet him by the fountain.
Mhm.
It's like lunchtime. He searched for him for a couple of hours. They aren't here, so he's going to sit and he's going to have whatever he's packed himself up for and chat with the people around him just for a little while, and then go back to searching.
Okay, cool. Roll you're chatting, aren't you? So roll a diplomacy check for me, please.
Is this I can't give myself enhanced diplomacy on this, can I?
Are you going to be casting in the middle of a crowd?
That would be silly, wouldn't it?
Probably.
No, maybe I shouldn't.
Probably. Most people
Just
won't
so
recognize
tempting,
what your
innit?
magic is.
Yeah. That's a mighty 12.
Okay. You are getting a bonus for this. So you end up having a lovely lunchtime chat with some of the people around the fountain, and like you you and the couple of people around you are very much talking about like your worries about the city and about the proclamations, and people are like complaining about the fact it's like the guards have tried to steal some of these people's tea because of the night tea proclamation. One of the people starts talking about how they weren't even that the thing about the embroidered clothing, they weren't wearing clothing, they just had their father's handkerchief that had embroidery around the hem, and that's now been confiscated. Like, you're just collecting lots of kind of stories like that while you're talking to these people.
Yeah, like I've got my little. I don't know whether it's like whether I can have a thermos or whether it's that instead I've just got some cold tea, but I'll share it around. I'll start the conversation by being like, I think I saw him up there, and I'll point at the window where I saw the figure.
You saw it?
Well, I don't. I mean, someone's watching us. Someone's up there.
Oh, we don't like that. Well, we do like that because we want him to hear us. But what's he doing?
Just like watching, imperious.
Is he just going to be up there all day, do you think? Just watching us scream our voices forth?
Well, I mean, he's clearly got so many important jobs to do if he's doing that, so a very busy man.
Oh, I hate this guy.
And I'll share some like tea with them, and and then I'll go. It's midday. Don't worry about it.
They kind of like cheers to that.
Yeah.
So like the tea is tepid. Like, you have been able to probably get something that can keep some of the heat in. It's tepid at best.
In a blanket.
Yeah, you've wrapped it in a blanket. It's stuffed in like it's still tepid at best, but also you're nearly 3 hours into this protest. Everybody's thirsty, and also it's a little bit of a middle finger to Thrune at this point. So everybody.
Like, I don't say it to them because I don't want them to get worried about it, but I secretly hope he's watching us enjoying tea by the fountain, just chilling out.
You know what, actually? You didn't get this. I'm gonna say that giving the tea and like having that bit gives you a little bit of a circumstance bonus, which gives you a room specifically because I know which room I want to give you because you guys started talking about the mayor. So you guys are sipping this tea and people start like kind of waxing over the last Lord Mayor, who, was actually Kintargan and actually valued the Kintargan values and loved the art and loved the opera and actually loved them, not just setting themselves up in the opera house and not anybody else, even get to see it anymore. And one of the people sips the tea and they go, well, you know what I heard about the Lord Mayor, Belinus? They didn't flee to Arcadia. Everyone was saying that they fled to Arcadia. They didn't. apparently, they were praying a little bit hard to Caden, if you get my meaning, and he fell down the stairs, and now they're trying to cover it up. Like proper downstairs.
I'll go. Yeah, I could see why they'd cover that up, but that's like, I mean that's kind of nobles all over, in it. A bit too much to drink, right?
Not the way they tell it, though.
Always having a sip of too much wine when really they should be doing something else. But
I think
between you and me,
and through saying tea is the problem, and you guys carry on like that for a little bit. Mitsu, you are still in your spot with your very suspicious guard next to you. What would you like to do?
So I am going to be listening for rumors, but kind of more specifically at the guards rather than the crowd.
Listening for the rumors in the guards.
Yeah, so
All right.
just trying to do a little bit of carousing under the noise of the crowd being like,
Ooh.
I'm not sure this is going to be safe. There's only 12 people deployed here for a crowd of hundreds.
All right. Then in that case, roll a perception check for me, please.
Say 15.
All right. So not the person next to you, but the person on the other side of them, like, is looking around and then looks to all of your rights. And I'm just going to blow this up a little bit because this person looks different from the rest of the guards. I'm going to blow this up for the camera. So we've got this lovely lady right here, who is the one standing outside the gate. And this guard, next over but one, kind of looks over, glances at them, and like gives a shudder. It's like, that damn Nox. Why is she here? Why is she always here? Why is Thrune sending that half devil woman to have to look after the rest of us?
They brought a tiefling here.
No. She's not tiefling. I mean, she's as ugly as, but she was human at some point, I'm pretty sure. But the things that you hear about her, and then there's that damn hound that she keeps. I'm telling you, there's something devil about her. And then, like, the guard that's standing between the two of you, that's like keeping an eye on you, nudges him to basically get him to shut up and glares at you.
I'm going to give the world's most polite smile behind a full face helmet.
He's just at this point, as the hour comes to a close, this guard who's been stood next to you and has been suspicious of you for the past few hours isn't watching the crowd, they're specifically watching you. As we move to Gideon, what would you like to do?
Same thing as before. Try to get rid of some loyalists. Probably.
All right. So you can roll a bluff check or an intimidate check for me.
Wow. Fucking hell. 2.
They like.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm not going to say they laugh in your face because they did that last time. You march up to a different group of loyalists at this point, and they literally just ignore you. They don't pay you any mind at all. You're. It's not even like you're a gnat in their ear that's annoying them. They just aren't perceiving you.
I'm not good at skills, particularly
Unfortunately.
skills.
Well,
Class.
Sebastian, what would actually? You've kind of already taken an action this turn because you stopped a sleight of hand from going off.
I did.
Are you happy with that being your only turn for this?
I'm thrilled with that. I got the outcome I wanted.
Cool. Alrighty.
For a mere 2 silver pieces, I averted a critical failure on a skill roll.
Nice.
What a bargain.
Yep. Okay, and as we get to the end of that, can everybody make me another perception check, please?
No. No, that's terrible. Natural 1.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Not great. 12.
So the crowd is getting louder. The sun. Oh yeah. So I would say with those rolls, the only one who spots anything of note is Asmoth, which is nobody else really spots this. There doesn't seem to be any specific cue for this, but Asmoth, you're kind of you've been thwarted. You've got this silver. You're kind of putting in your pocket. You're looking around, and or they've almost been given like a secret cue that nobody that you hadn't. You have no idea where this has come from, but nearly all of the Tatari and the woman in the middle in this very like haggard but well-made armor all kind of stand up a little straighter as the crowd gets a little bit louder, right up until on the 3rd floor of this opera house, at the window that we saw moving behind before, they fly open, and Paracount Barzillai Thrune, Lord Mayor of Kintargo, dressed in resplendent finery, only befitting that of the most powerful of nobles, and definitely that of the Lord Mayor. He's got the necklace, he's got the furs, he's got everything. Steps out, a glass of wine in his hand, and for a moment, the crowd seems to grow louder until he holds up a single hand, and not immediately, but quite quickly, everybody goes quiet. Would anybody like to do anything at this point, or are you just watching?
I would, if it's possible, just like to make a cheeky perception check for my contact, because this feels like this might be my last opportunity before it all goes south.
Because you're specifically doing that, yeah, I will let you have one more.
Thank you.
I'm
It's at this point you notice that Thrune is wearing a
21.
single black leather
I
21.
mean, I wouldn't be fucking surprised, but 21.
You know what? Right before he puts his hands up, the crowd starts to go quiet. You look around you and you see a person with a hood over, like twitch at their hood, wearing a single glove. Like on the other side of the fountain.
Other side of the
Other side of the
That's all
fountain.
right. I'll get to you, sir.
I'm gonna take a moment to suddenly pull like a small like vial from
Mhm.
my belt, remove the lid, and quaff it at
Okay.
a extract of heightened awareness.
Ooh,
So
what does that one do for you?
For the next 10
Good one.
minutes, I've got a +2 competence bonus on perception and knowledge checks that I'm trained in. If it's active when I have to make an initiative check, I can dismiss it for a +4 bonus.
Ah, nice. Okie dokie. Would anybody else like to do anything as Thrune waits for the crowd to quiet enough to put his hand down? Yes, Sebastian.
I would like to possibly slightly paranoidly move as far as I can to the right in a single action. I know it's double move at the moment, but
It is double move, so you can have moved.
maybe there if it's a double move.
Yeah, you can move to there, 30 feet. And you're able to get to there before Thrune begins to speak. Would anybody else like to do anything before Thrune begins to speak?
I'm going to take the opportunity while kind of everyone's attention is up there
Mm-hmm.
to take a quick overlook of the woman and spend 3 seconds using my Paladin's Detect Evil.
Okay, hang on. You're gonna make me bring up a character sheet now, aren't you? I need to double check how she pings. This is a move action, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Cool. Where are you? There you are. Cool. So I need to double check what you're able to This is literally just, it tells you if something has an evil aura or not, doesn't it? That's how it works.
Yeah. So it. So if they have an aura and how strong it is.
Okay, so she has a faint evil aura.
Duly
Yes.
noted.
Yes, she has a faint evil aura. Yeah, just double checking against the thing to make sure I don't get anything else. As I then try to go back to my spot. Anybody else? Okay, brilliant. So Thrun, was that somebody else? Or are we all cool? Thrun puts his hand down, raises, kind of leans on the balcony, kind of bringing his cup up, and he starts to speak. And you feel like the tone he's going for is conversational, but he is still projecting. So all of you hear this as he just kind of goes, my adoring little chickadees. I am sorry to say I have not yet adapted to your quaint country ways, being accustomed as I am to the sophistication and learning of Agorian. Nonetheless, know that I have heard your concerns, and I appreciate your valued feedback. And I know we shall eventually find a mutual understanding in the fullness of time. I take pride in updating Kintargo's quaint, outdated laws to the modern standards the city deserves, and strengthening its ties with the Empire in these cruel times. But obviously, I've approached my duties too aggressively. You say you chafe at the presence of non-natives in positions of power, that authorities not of this city have no place as its leaders, that you will not be yoked by intruders. Your Lord Mayor hears you. And so it is with a heavy heart that I issue this proclamation in response to your demands. All ships' captains are hereafter barred from leaving their vessels and setting foot on Kintargo docks or streets under pain of, say, squassation. So, the crowd, in response to this, erupts. 1,000 voices, all screaming and yelling in anger, in shock, for the loyalists. Well, yeah, no, in the loyalist case, they cheer. The economic conservatives are despairing. Just everything is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Would anybody like to do anything as the crowd erupts around you?
Yeah.
Can I move some more spaces to the right?
You can move 30 more spaces, 30 more feet to the right.
Can I try and get towards my contact and also rattle? Can I make an intelligence check to see if I know what the word squassation means as well? Because
There is a check
I
for that.
have no idea what that means.
Let me double check what the thing is for squassation. Where's it gone?
It means to squat, you know?
Yeah, to squash? Is he going
No,
to
to
squash?
squat.
He's going to make them squat.
Yeah, it's an actual very, very hard workout scheme.
Okay, cool. You need to make a knowledge local check for me. Anybody who wants to do this can make a knowledge local check for me.
I mean, I'm untrained in that, so I don't think I can.
No, you cap at 10. And you need more. Do you have local trained, Asmoth?
I don't know.
Okay, no. If you Evie, do
Just...
you have local trained?
No.
Do any of you have ranks? Do any of you have ranks in knowledge local, and would you like to make a roll?
I do have, and I would like to use my campaign trait to roll twice and take the best option.
Okay, you do that then. Because we ignore Asmos because he's not trained, and we ignore Evis because she's not trained. You cap at 10. Squassation, like the way that he said it, it sounds like it's a bad thing.
It's squassing, you know. You get
It's
up
not
every day and you squass.
Oh god, okay,
Isn't that
cool.
one of those fancy new dances the kids are doing?
So, this is where I have to say trigger warning torture for the first time. You rolled 2 16s, that's impressive. But this is where I have to say, because the nature of this campaign, I already warned all of the players and I warned the audience now. I will quickly mention a trigger warning if there's anything that gets mentioned that I think is particularly nasty. And so trigger warning torture, because squassation is a form of torture in which the victim's hands are tied together, raised above the head, and they are then hung from the hands while a weight is suspended from the feet, causing intense pain to the arms and legs. They will hang them for hours. With this, like, like, for it to really, for it to make an impression, whoever gets subjected to this, they'll keep them there all day if they can, kind of thing. Just hanging with this weight on their legs.
As a free action, I'd like to throw up a little bit in the back of my throat.
Yeah.
I'll let you do that.
Can I though move towards my contact though? I don't know what squassation is. I assume it means squash. I don't know.
So it's still half movement around the fountain, and you are small, so you can move 10 feet.
That's a bit of a way. I'll keep going.
As the your contact has, like, obviously they did a little twitch. They were watching up and heard what Thrune said, and like you sensed the alarm come off them right until the crowd started to surge and they started to kind of get pushed and jostled into the crowd as you're trying to make your way around towards them. And while all this is happening, the crowd erupts. Does anybody else want to do anything right now, or are you just kind of watching this play out?
I'm mostly going to sort of sink back into like the shadows underneath the tree, just kind of.
Makes sense.
I'm philosophically thinking about what squassation could possibly be.
Okay, cool.
I'd like to ease my rapier out of its sheath, but kind of hold it by my side, vertical.
All right, awesome.
But I'm not brandishing it, or I'm not going to hurt anybody in the immediate crowd.
All right, I love that. Well, while you guys do that, oops, what did I just do? I don't even know why I did that. There we go. I just realized, how did I do this last time? I just realized I need to be able to do something, and I've forgotten how to do it now. You guys watch the crowd erupt, getting louder and louder. Things start being thrown around the crowd. People are throwing mud and rocks and anything that they can get their hands on as the voices get louder and angrier. And Thrune is kind of watching this almost with amusement, right up until a ball of what looks suspiciously not like mud and more like manure gets thrown to the opera house, sails towards him. He manages to somehow dodge it, and it flies past him into the building. But in the process, he does end up spilling some of the wine down himself, which, if anything, might be more of a crime because they spilled his wine.
I mean, a fate worse than squassation, I'd say.
Well, the problem is that he sees the wine, and when he looks back up, the amusement has gone, and he's just looking at the whole crowd with disdain. And then you hear him shout, and he's not projecting with the regalness that he had before. Instead, he's just shrieking. He's like, enough of this. Nox, run them off, arrest them, or kill them. I don't care which. Just deal with them. And he slams the window shut behind him as all of the guards and Knox gear up in front of the Opera House. How did I do this? Need a quick question. How do you go into the GM layer? Oh, that's how you do it. Cool, that's fine. Got it. As those of you who spotted the undercurrent moving through the crowd beforehand are able to understand why. As a bunch of the people in the crowd pull off cloaks, revealing matching armbands, signifying themselves as members of the Chalish Citizens group. As they look around the crowd with truncheons and sadistic grins on their faces, looking for some people to bring to heel. And now I would like you all to roll initiative. For those who spotted these people beforehand or spotted the undercurrent beforehand, you get a +4 to this initiative roll.
I'm going to dismiss my heightened awareness to give myself that +4, additional +4.
Okie dokie.
As always, my enemy is CCGs.
Just roll high.
And now I can't get back on to...
Oh, that should be 29.
Okay, cool. Can you change the number on that while I work out how to get back onto the map layer? Because I'm somehow stuck on the GM layer and I don't know how to get off.
Do you have the little tabs in the bottom left?
No.
So
I should do, shouldn't I? That's how I did it last time.
That's like I think that's the most up-to-date version of Roll20.
All right, let me try and reload and see if that fixes it. Got my turn order. Got your initiatives. That's great.
Also, can we just appreciate that that's a 29 from someone?
Yes. As that is a 29. I'm trying to... Why is this now decided it doesn't want to play ball? Why is that a thing?
I thought I did quite well with 16.
Sorry, what?
Hello, this is Tech tuning in. Try hitting Control+O.
Control and O.
Now, I want to know if Sean made himself.
Has that worked?
Nope, it's not done anything.
Ah, that's supposed to be the hotkey. Ah, curse you, Roll20 wiki, you lie.
No.
And the
Dang
toddler
it.
is commenting on it.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oh no, because I can't move them either because I can't... Damn it.
Alternatively, do you have a bar on the left at all?
I do have a bar on the left, but it looks like the player's bar,
Interesting.
which is interesting because this is my game.
Are you logged in as a player?
No, because it says rejoin as player on the bottom there, so it can't be that. And I've still got all of my other stuff.
Alternatively, go to settings on the right.
Yeah.
And turn off UI redesign under personalization display. And that will give you the old UI, which will make it a lot easier to switch.
Oh, this is what I had before. Perfect. That's great. Got okay. I feel like this is the new one. Anyway, it's fine. We can then... Where the hell are those tokens just completely vanished on me then? Because I can't do anything with those tokens now. Oh my god, they moved on to the map layer. Why did they move on to the map layer? Token liar. There we
Those
go.
tokens were the map all along.
Oh, stop it. Oh, I definitely know what I'm doing, guys.
And with the technology problems
all right,
mostly
don't worry.
eradicated, the ghost of tech will disappear. Ooh.
Thank you, Ghost of Tech.
I love the ghost of tech.
It's a shame that Halloween was yesterday.
I wonder if the big bad isn't Brazali Throne, it's actually the ghost of tech.
There we go.
Evil undead Lich King, ghost of tech.
In a cravat.
Techers, ghosters.
Token. Problem is I can't just highlight them now because they've moved to the map layer, and I don't know why they moved there, but they did. There we go. Is that all of them?
I think there was one over here.
There was one over there. There it is. Yeah. All right. So those are your childish guards. I'm just gonna
Oh,
roll initiative for one of them, and that'll just be their roll. Oh,
I'm glad that that's a roll.
It's possible there's someone even slower than me in this combat.
there is somebody slower than you in this combat because they don't add anything to initiative.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna add that turn. That's gonna be a 4. We are gonna start at the top of the round with Gideon.
Cool.
You see these people pop out of the crowd, pulling off the cloaks, revealing truncheons, and looking around for all the world like they're about to cause some trouble. They're going to cause some problems. What would you like to do?
I'm going to be causing problems back, so I need some protection from law.
Ooh, okay.
4-round action.
All right, so that's a 4-round action to do. All right, cool. Is that your turn? Yeah, because it's a standard action, so you can move if you want to. You do have difficult terrain. No, it's that spell is a standard action to cast.
So okay, I
Yes.
was having a moment. Sick.
No, it's fine. There are some spells that specifically take 1 round. Those ones, it takes the whole round, you can't move, and then it triggers at the beginning of your next turn. That is a standard action, so you can't do that and fight, but you can also move.
Sure. Cool. I will move here and assume a fencing stance.
All right, as part of your move action, would you like to draw your rapier?
It was already drawn.
You were starting to draw it, I think you said.
Yeah, I was basically like, I'd drawn it and kind of
Oh, I
done
see.
that.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's fine. So you do that and you square up to this guard who grins at you and then stops grinning when he realizes that you have an actual deadly weapon and he's got a stick. As it is Asmoth's turn.
Okay. So actually, sort of backing into the tree looks less like calm and calculated, and it's more like there's like very sort of stiff poses. Like the chest is sort of rising and falling very rapidly. Looks like he's on the verge of a panic attack. So he's going to quickly reach to his belt, pull out another vial. This one's slightly bigger. Sort of take off the top and sort of start drinking that, and it seems to calm him down slightly. As he also sort of kind of increases slightly, like an inch or 2 in height, broadens out, and his sort of clothes seem to sort of strain against slightly bulging muscles.
Is that your mutagen?
That's my strength mutagen. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Okay, that's a standard action to drink, isn't it? Or is it a move action?
Standard, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like especially when you're first level, it's probably standard.
Yep, standard action to drink.
Cool. All right, you've drunk that. You do have a move action left. It is difficult terrain, so you can move at half your speed. So you can't take 5-foot steps because it takes you 10 feet to basically go into any of the squares around you.
Sure, I will move. Well, I will move 5 foot there.
Well, that would be 10 foot, but yeah.
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 No, I will move 5 foot.
Okay. That will count as a move action. Would you like to draw any weapons?
Nope, because the tips of his gloves have kind of torn, and like his fingers have like flexed and shown that they are taloned.
All right. The guard that you step up to is about to pop off, and then they see like your glare, and they see the claws, and they're like, "Oh fuck!" As it is Whist's turn.
Okay. Whist is glancing at his contact, then I'm glancing at this lovely group of people who he's been chatting with for an hour, and
They're all
guy
screaming.
the guy who'd been standing in front of us just minding his own business, suddenly turning around with like a massive beaten stick, and he'll be like, right, how far away is the contact first off?
They are roughly in here, but they are very quickly being swallowed by the crowd.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is he is going to point at this fellow Malad,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll say, so he'll kind of like rub at his wrists, like as if he's either like it's like an anxious twitch, and then he'll just take his staff, and he'll say, so you think that's okay, just beating up random people? Well, I suppose it probably is, actually. I suppose if you've got a stick, you might as well use it. It'd be a shame if you couldn't, though, wouldn't it? And he's going to cast Forbid Action. So they need to make a Wisdom saving throw, I want to say. I'll double check the spell. A Will check, a Will saving throw.
Will save.
Yeah, sorry, it's because I'm talking.
It's fine. It's fine. NPC warrior, what do you think their will saves are like?
I hope they're bad.
Plus 15, plus 20, something like that.
Cool. All right. Oh
I
my
hope
god.
they're bad at will saves.
Well, that was a natural one. So what does this spell do with was it forbid action?
It's forbid action. So I forbid the target of taking a single course of action which it avoids to the best of its ability, and I can demand the target to not take actions that fall into one of the following options. So I'm choosing attack. This target cannot attack, at least for the next round. They gotta let people run away, I'm afraid, or just move, or they can draw weapons or talk, but they cannot attack anyone.
Okay, I'm gonna put a little flurry next to that one, so I remind myself of which one you've spelled. As you do that, we'll see that play out on
And then I'll say I'll be back in a moment. And I am going to hurry after my contact and try and grab their.
You can move 10 feet. You can move 10 feet because it's difficult terrain.
So they were about here, I believe. So I think I can just
in this rough here. Yeah, you probably actually get pretty damn close to them. Like there's like a person or two in your way. But you do get close.
Oi! Just see if that works.
Okay.
I'm really sure I can't move very fast. I just lamely prod with my big staff.
Oh my god! All right, that's your turn. Evie, what would you like to do while you're on your bench and the crowd around you erupts? There are people over there that look like they're gearing up for a fight and they're gearing up to cause some trouble.
Well, I mean, this is definitely not bench time. So I guess I'll get up. And
you are surrounded by people still, so you are also in difficult terrain.
Yep. So that's my whole move action. And like, there's just a bit where you sort of have the camera pan out slightly, and you see the white clothes just disappear as they go behind someone, and then suddenly there's quite an elderly-looking human man who's got very big black robes and is dressed like some sort of cleric of Asmodeus, who's just sort of wandering closer to the fight.
I've realized what you've just done. I think I realized what you've just done.
I mean, I definitely didn't cast a spell.
You didn't. You absolutely did not cast a spell. I do, however, need to get something up so I can check. Cool. All right. Make a disguise check for me with a +10 bonus.
Oh, so that's only a 21.
Okay, cool. Everyone around you starts screaming more and starts to actively try to get away from you while also being pushed back by the rest of the crowd. Like, it's not that you've necessarily been able to clear a path for yourself, but everyone around you is going to be giving you a wide berth.
Yep.
Oh boy. Cool. All right. Next is our plucky disguised not a guard. What would you like to do?
Okay, so Alberic's much faster on his feet than the other guards are, and he's going to basically use his halberd to start forcefully moving through the crowd,
Okay.
all the while going through saying, "Disperse, get yourselves home."
Okay. I'm trying to work out if this would be a diplomacy, bluff, or disguise. So, or intimidate, potentially. Basically, one of the if you're trying to get the crowd to disperse, what ability, what skill would you like to use for that?
I'll go for diplomacy, and that he is genuinely concerned for these people. He's trying to
Alright.
convince them to go for their own safety.
Cool. All right. So is that, sorry, I've just realized where you've gone up to. Is this you trying to disperse people, or are you gearing up to go deal with this citizen member?
I think the main thing is spotting someone who's got a weapon out.
Yeah.
And going to incapacitate them. But
All right.
you'll be saying, disperse, go home.
Okay. Are you going to be confronting this person specifically right now?
Yes.
All right, cool. You go to confront them and they turn around. What do you say? Or how do you approach this?
I think I just approach them by swinging the butt of my halberd towards them.
All right.
The non-lethal end.
Okay, it's you take a penalty to do that. I believe it's a -4 or -4.
-4, yeah.
It is
-4. Okay, roll your attack with a -4 then. So
non-lethal damage.
holy, yeah, okay. As that one, immediately is bloodied, and kind of stumbles back, like shocked and hurt, and he turns around to you and goes, "What the hell? I'm on your side." And that's your turn. As Sebastian, what would you like to do?
Well, as the single most helpful action I can take in any game is, of course, for me to leave the battlefield for an extended period of time. So I feel like, though it is not helpful for the progression of the game, I vanish off into the streets looking for a concealed package that I put in a barrel earlier.
Oh,
I'll be back soon.
You'll do that. Okay, cool. All right. As we get to the baddie's turn. And what I will describe first of all, everybody I will let everybody spot this because nothing about this is subtle. The people are screaming, people are yelling, the fight's starting to break out. Not only do you see these people with like truncheons, you see people with other sticks. People even pull out knives and start trying to we have switched into a full riot at this point, and there's violence everywhere. And you see a stray knife, you're not quite sure where it came from or who it came from. It sails out of the crowd and knocks the person in the middle of this crowd, in the middle of the line of Datari, who is at this point calling out orders to all of the other Datari around her. Looks up just in time for this knife to stick her in the neck. And all of you watch as she grabs it and with the slightest of hisses, pulls it out of her neck. Like, it's not even anything. And she braces with a halberd, yells a final order to the Datari, and you can just see the cut start to heal as she steps inside the opera house. As the rest of the guards, or the Chelish citizens group, start to cause trouble. We'll start this one over here. He's gonna come up to Gideon, and these two, spotting your rapier. One of them drops a rapier, drops his truncheon, pulls out a mace, and the other one switches to a mace as he comes towards you, and they both go to try and attack. So let's see what they get. 1 and 2. And they both manage to roll a 13.
20.
So they just clang off your armor. Like, they both come in yelling, and they, like, do you dodge or do you just let it bounce off you?
I parry.
Okay, cool. So you go into charge, and you manage to somehow parry the both of them, especially, like, swinging away, and they're kind of looking at you, like, that, like, trying to work out how you just did that to both of them at the same time, almost. But that's their turns. This one over here is also gonna come over. Actually, hold on. Can he get there? I don't think he can get there. Oh, he can just. So he's also gonna come over to you and try and cause some trouble. That one was a 15, so also gets parried by you. The one that Whist bespelled finishes drawing his truncheon, sneers, goes to hit someone nearby, and just kind of freezes in midair for a second and looks really confused as he then looks at his hand and, like, he almost tried to do it again, but there is a force physically stopping him from, like, finishing this attack. The one who is facing off against Asmoth, at this point, you have shown your claws, so they also switch to a mace and go to try to hit you. That is a 14 to hit.
Misses.
Is this a you dodge? Is this a you parry? Is this a they just bounce off you?
Probably just bounce. Yeah, just bounce off, like the chest, just kind of like the chest that's straining against a shirt and a waistcoat.
So they come in with a hit. It bounces off you, and they just kind of stumble back, and they, like, also look perturbed. As the one that was facing off against Mitu, honestly, at this point, makes a withdrawal action and tries to bugger the bugger off. So he would move 1, 2, 3 over here, as trying to get past you away from you as quickly as possible. Because you're on their side. Why the hell are you attacking them? They can't deal with this. They're out of here.
Nothing like a good blindsiding.
And we go back to the top of the round. Gideon, you've got 3 people on you. How would you like to proceed?
I'm going to attack this one.
Okay, roll your attack.
A riposte. I am the sole threat to them, so they take 10.
Which one's that? Which one's that?
This person.
Cool. All right. You riposte them, and, like, they don't go down, but, like, they take the blow, and they kind of stumble, like, they're suddenly dazed, and, like, a gentle breeze is going to knock them over as you literally take them to 0 hit points. I'm going to put an X on them for now, because the second I make them move, they're going to drop and start bleeding out. Because that's what happens when you take a standard action on 0 hit points.
I would casually revert my attention to the other 2
Mhm.
Very Assassin's Creed perfect parry moment.
All right, they are looking even more intimidated by you by the fact that you just basically dropped their body with a single turn. Asnoth, it's your turn.
He's getting a claw to the face.
All right, roll that for me, please.
Oh,
All right, so the first one misses.
Oh yeah, I'll get 2, don't I? Yeah, so yeah, I'll do the second
The
one.
second one hits. And again, you immediately take them to bloodied as you just tear a gash through their armor in their chest, and they stumble back screaming. Whist. I will say that in the mix of everything else that's going on, you can try and make a very difficult perception check to try to spot your contact. You know that they were very close to you, but the crowd is moving so quickly at this point.
I'll give it a go. Do I still get the +2?
Yes, you also get a +2 hit.
So 13. So
They-
that's probably not going to do it.
You look around, you look in the last place you saw them, you look nearby, you basically do a 360. They're all gone.
That's a problem for future whist. I can't deal with that at the moment.
What would you like to do with your turn?
Right, this absolute bell end, right? Have the people I was talking to, have they managed to get away? Are they surround? What's going on with this person? Has it bought them enough time?
He's still trying to kind of fight against his arm, and like at this point, the second he drops it, he can move the truncheon fine. But the second he goes to attack again, he freezes, and he's almost like they're kind of warring with himself as everyone around him has taken the opportunity to bolt. The people that you were sharing tea with, the other people around, you can't see any of them anymore. You can only assume that they've taken the chance to get away.
That's all right. This guy who's holding the truncheon,
Yes.
just out of interest, the side that's facing my guy, is that the
Yep.
side with the armband or not the side with the armband?
I would say...
see the armband.
Yeah, the armbands are very clear and visible, and they're all on their right shoulder, on their right arm. So...
Okay. Well, what I want to do, I think if I get into actual combat with any of these guys, I'm going to die.
Okay.
I can certainly try and bamboozle them and
Okay.
hope that other people can get away.
So that's your plan. Your plan is cause chaos among the violent opposers and try to give people a chance to get out. Cool, I love it.
Yeah, that is my entire plan. So I'm going to cast with Ghost Sound with my gnomish ability, but behind them, kind of like about here-ish, probably.
Yeah.
So where there's a bit more space, and hopefully there's nobody standing there because she said everyone's kind of scarpered, and I'd just like to go, all right, big boy, you want to dance? And like try and bluff them into thinking there's someone behind them who wants like to have a big fight.
All right. Okay, what I'm going to say is roll me a bluff or a perform check with the fact that you're trying to make them do something out of it.
Have a bluff, please.
Yeah, you can get a bluff.
Natural 20 for 28.
So you set the sound off, and everyone around that spot is spinning around in either alarm or like gearing up already when they hear this like booming voice. And then they look around and like this guy is like confused because there's nobody there that matches that description. This guy, the bloodied one, suddenly looks very, very afraid because they are currently bleeding quite profusely and heavily, and they've just heard somebody actively threaten them, and the only person nearby who is who is possibly tough enough to do that is one of the people in their own group. And they've already been attacked by one who's supposed to be in their group. How many people are going to betray them today? So that guy is he is completely freaked out at this point. And probably squeals an alarm and is very much backing away.
As they're figuring out their lives, I'm gonna move. I can probably get to about here because I can only move 10 feet, right?
Yeah.
But basically, I'm gonna try and, in fact, I'm gonna move here because I'm gonna try and guide people who are trying to get out round the fountain and away from these jackasses, and kind of just try and slowly get people out, and as I say, bamboozle them into not following. That's
okay, cool. And that is a good turn. That's a good turn. I love that. All right. Evie, the Asmodean Knight, I guess. What are you doing with your turn?
Old priest of Asmodeus. Ignore the fact that these religious chains might look like knuckle dusters in how they're worn. Just ignore that. It's
Okay. What would you like to do with your turn?
I'm just gonna move slowly up the path, making my way to the combat.
Okay. This is ridiculous. I can't believe you.
That's all I can do. I'm just walking.
Oh, all right. Albrecht, it's your turn.
Okay. So I'm going to move and dash to get up into this crowd over here. And I'm basically going to start acting as a barrier between these guys and the crowd behind me.
Okay. What kind of skill would you like to do to support that?
So for the moment, it's just being big and obvious and in armor. So not especially using any particular skill. It's just I am being in the way.
Okay. Would you like to do either a strength check or a dexterity check? Either a strength check for being so kind of big and strong that anyone who tries to push past you just can't get past you, or a dexterity check to just kind of fend off anybody who tries to get past your area, as it were.
That's my strength. That is
all right. So people start trying to push into you, and you do not move. You are a wall in the crowd right now. So that's good. You find your stuff, Sebastian.
Yep, and I will, hearing the screams behind me in this alleyway, I will start quickly getting changed.
How does it take you to do this again?
It's going to be 10 rounds.
Oh, baby. Okay.
It's totally fine. It will all be fine. I'll come in at the end like the heroic cavalry at the end of a bad western. It'll be great.
Okay, sure. All right, we get to the baddie's turn. Two people try to. They're very much intimidated by Thursday. What was Thursday's AC again? 20?
20, yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, they're gonna try and hit him. They do not hit him. They both rolled an 8 on the dice. This guy is just gonna keep on running. So he's gonna go 5, 10, 20, 25, 30. The one who is sandwiched between you two also says, screw this, I'm out, and takes a withdrawal action to go what? I've just realised that only allows them to safely move 5 feet. The second they move there, they get attacks of opportunity. Would anyone like to take an attack of opportunity on this person as they flee?
I definitely am not letting this guy get past.
Okay, he's moving away from you, like he's moving sideways past you. So
I miss anyway. Alas.
I'll definitely be taking a swipe at him.
okay,
No, I'm not.
you both miss. So the halberd swings wide, the claws swing short as he gets five. So it was five. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and he is running for the hills. And this one is trying to work out what on earth just happened with the noise that was around. And you know what? I'm going to say he wastes his turn trying to find the person who just challenged him in the middle of the crowd. Obviously, there's no one there. As we tick back up to a person who is not at the table. All right, I'm going to quickly switch to Asmoth, and then I'll let 30 take his turn when he's back. So, Asmoth, what would you like to do?
I'm going to let's see. I'm going to move over to this chappie here.
Yep.
About 15 foot of movement.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be my full movement through the crowd.
Yep.
And I'm going to swipe at him.
Okay. He turns around just as you step up to him and is like, "Are you the let's be having you then kind of thing?" As you again swipe across his chest, roll the damage for me because you do hit.
5.
Yeah. And you take him. You don't take him to bloodied, but you
Is there
feel
any
like
chance he's flat-footed?
no,
Oh,
he is not flat-footed, I'm afraid. So you do very much. You swipe at him. He reels backwards, like clutching at his chest, like only realizing after you swiped that you have very sharp and menacing claws. And his eyes widen at that as he then also becomes alarmed. We are still missing a Thursday, so we will jump to Whist.
Okay, so right, so this someone's now fighting them, which wasn't the point. People were meant to leave. How many people have so far managed to get out of that place?
Around the fountain itself is cleared out quite quickly. Basically the pockets where the guards are clearing quite quickly. There is what looks like an Asmodean priest walking up the path, who
Okay.
is clearing the crowds quite quickly. It's not enough to get rid of the difficult terrain effect that's going on because there's still quite a lot of bodies here. But considering like where you were literally packed in like sardines, it's gone from that to like Hill de Picosi, like busy town centre rather than packed stadium, as it were. A lot of people,
Okay.
quite a few people have already cleared out.
Well, that Asmodean priest might make me disperse rather quickly as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my sling.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and take a pot shot at this guy. Maybe I'll knock him out. You know, maybe I'll be lucky.
Okay. Who are you
And
positioning
if I
your
do,
shot
that
at?
will give a chance for that person to get away.
Okay. All right. Thank you
So,
for the shot.
that is a 10 to hit.
The pebble flies wide over their head. Like you realize you have to very much aim up. You're also aiming through a crowd, so they've got cover. So you're trying to like get it so that it kind of arcs over and bonks them in the head, and you overreach it. Basically.
Yeah, I'll call out and I'll say, "Oi, yeah, you're meant to be going. Look,
to the
Just
very
get
menacing
going, and then
this
I'm
person
gonna-
with his hood still up and obvious claws. You're telling them
no.
you're going to be leaving now.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've really taken this in. I've got like it in my head
Mm.
that like this person's going to try and murk people, and I'm like desperately trying to get people to stay away from them. So I think I'm more just taking in the fact that I've seen someone go up and like fight them, and I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing here. But like I've done my best.
I love that. Okay, yeah.
And then there's this priest of Asmodeus coming, and that sucks.
Yeah.
So I was actually here, so I'm going to move 5, 10,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to try and hide. I mean, I'm not actually going to do a stealth check, but I'm
No,
going to like
it's supposed to be a
turn
standard action
around
here.
and like hide under my hat.
You're gonna put your hat down even more, like crouch behind someone, make yourself even smaller as you're trying to get away from this Asmodean priest. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna skip back a couple of turns ago to Gideon. What would you like to have done with your turn?
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's fine.
So is this person out of the fight?
Oh yeah, that's the point. I completely forgot them. They would have tried to swing for you. I'm gonna say that they missed and then they collapsed.
Coup de grace. No. There, I have opponents who are up. Go swing at this one.
Okay.
Also, for the purposes of my AC, it's 18 base. If they are
Okay.
lawful, it's 20. I've just been assuming all of these fascists are lawful.
These are lawful creatures, yes.
Get crit.
Cool. Which one were you hitting?
Get destroyed.
That one? Yeah, cool.
So that'd
You
be
skewer them.
12, I think.
You skewer them entirely, and as you pull the rapier out, they crumple. The last one looks at you, utterly terrified. Like, they've still got their mace. They're holding it like a bat. They're definitely not holding it like as... Like, they're proficient with it because it's a simple weapon, but they're not holding it as an actual fighter would. Oh my god, do you do anything with your move action?
I should probably 5-foot step here. So
Okay.
it's more of a... Although actually I could coup de grace the slot in.
No, coup de grace is a 4-round action.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, we jump to our Asmodean priest, Evie.
So, move at a leisurely pace to here.
He looks at this guy.
Look at this guy and go, child of Cheliax, you seek to do Asmodeus's work and uphold this government, but you flee when times get tough. You forget the laws of Asmodeus. There are only two kinds of people, those in charge and those to be stepped on. Poof.
I'm pretty sure they're counting as flat-footed for this because you just freaked them out so much. You deck them and they hit the dirt and don't move.
Yep. I just does the nodding. As Asmodeus wills.
And everyone around you is screaming even more as they see that guy drop. Albrecht, it's your turn.
Okay, so I'm going to dash and start moving downwards. I'm going to reach a hand out towards the priest and say, Father, come with me. I'll make sure you get out safely.
Go and take these heathens to the church.
This is going to end so badly. You're going to kill each other in the first fight. Sebastian, you're putting on your suit.
Yep.
All right. The book originally gave you 4 of these guys to fight. I gave you 6. You're still tearing through them because you're just insane. As I'm gonna say, these 2 Tatari. No, 2 of them, please. These 2, go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and basically charge for Gideon. These 2 go 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, trying to get to Asmoth. Because you guys at this moment are the closest people who are actively being threats.
Are they double moving?
They are double moving to do that, yes.
Sure.
Because it's still difficult terrain. The one Chelish citizen militia person who is still facing off against you. Gideon tries to hit you. I got a natural 20. That is a...
We'll miss on the confirmation, but it will hit.
No,
Oh,
they
sorry, do
add,
they have pluses?
they
Yeah.
add 3, so it's a 21.
Yeah.
I did not realize my rolls were on. So yeah, that's a 21, so that does confirm the crit with a mace, which I believe is times 2.
Sounds
Cool. Alrighty, so we're going to be doing 2d6 plus 4. Yes, that's it. As you take,
Times 2 for light and heavy maces.
okay, so that would be 2d6 plus their strength twice is 11 points of damage.
How many points?
11.
Ugh. So I'm on -1.
Cool. You drop.
Level 1, man.
So this guy basically is shrieking at this point. You come towards them and they swing and brain you, basically. This one is still running for it. I'm going to say he gets off the map because he's doing nothing but run. So he gets away. As we immediately get to your turn, you're going to need to make a constitution check for me to stabilize. And just to remind you, because of the donations we've had, you do have a pool. Nope.
I'd like to use one of those if people don't mind.
Yeah, I was about to explain before you rolled. You add them to the roll before you make it.
Oh, okay.
Is the way that I'm rolling it.
Sure. Then I'll just take that. So I'm on -2.
You are -2.
Sure.
So the next con check that you make needs to be, you need to basically get a 12 or higher on your next one to stabilize. As it is Asmoth's go.
So I've just seen somebody drop.
Yep, this guy has. I'm gonna put a little skull on you for now, Thursday, so we know that you're in your bleed out. What you doing, Johnny?
I'm going to. Whilst it seems I'm very sort of focused on what's like fighting this guy, this something sort of slides up out of my coat and deposits a another vial into my hand, which I'm going to open and drink, and it's going to be Expeditious Retreat.
Okay.
And I'm just going to muscle my way as quickly as I can towards Gideon.
Okay, so your baseline speed is increased by 30 feet. Okay.
Yep.
So just to confirm, as you move past, hold on, how did you move past the guy then?
So it would be there.
Yeah.
5 foot.
Yeah.
10, 15.
Cool. You're taking 2 attacks of opportunity.
Perfectly fine.
Cool. First one is a 16 to hit.
Hits.
Okay, and that is going to be a 6 damage to you. As the Tatari also swings in with an attack. And misses entirely. I don't even need to check that one with you. So you do take the one hit from the person that you were originally fighting as you run past. Yeah. And that's going to be your whole turn because you use your standard action to drink.
Yep.
And you've used your move action to get there. Yep. Okay, cool. Whist, it is your turn.
Okay, so I've seen this person go down.
Yeah.
Can I please make a sense motive on these guys? Do they look like they are going to, like they're the kind of jackasses that would strike a man when he's down, or are they going to turn their attention to other people?
I will let you make a sense motive on those, yeah.
14. Oh, but I get +2 for the scene, so 16.
You do. Okay, so the 2 that have stepped up that look like guards, they originally came up here to deal with a threat. The threat has now been dealt with. What you see is the Chalish, the citizen guard, he's spraying the guy, realizes what he's done, and he's about to like go for another hit. One guard basically puts his hand on his wrist to stop him, while the other one starts to reach down to grab Gideon.
Okay, so they're going to arrest him. Okay. Right, well, that makes my decision. So I am going to... I'm going to duck under this tree.
Okay.
I'm within 30 feet.
Yeah.
And I am going to channel energy like a wizard does.
That very wizardly thing.
That very wizardly thing of channeling divine energy to heal people. Yeah.
This doesn't count as spellcasting. This isn't a spellcasting thing. So you can't use your false arcanist ability on this. You've just got to hide. No one spots and the magic's coming from you.
Yeah, so that's why I've gone to hide under a tree.
That makes sense. Cool. Roll your channel for me, please.
Okay, so I've never done this before, like in any game, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly. So 1d6 points of damage for every 2 cleric levels beyond the first. So it's just 1d6.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay,
and you get that a certain amount of times a day.
And technically,
yeah, 3 plus my charisma.
It is. Yes, it is. Yes, you get 3 plus your charisma times to do this a day.
And technically, everyone within 30 foot can make a save to resist it if they're conscious.
Okay, so that is going to be 5 points of healing.
Okay, and it was 30 feet, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably wouldn't get him, and I think, to be honest,
yeah,
he isn't super beaten up, and I'm very wanting to be hidden in a tree.
That's fair.
So I think I probably get as close to the trunk and under the
Cool.
foliage as I can. So
Cool.
I'm really sorry, alchemist buddy, but you ain't getting this healing because I'm hiding in a tree.
That's fine. That's fine. Gideon, you heal 5 hit points and regain consciousness. You are now, I believe, on 3 hit points. Cool. That's great. We love that. Okay, it's your turn. A god's just come up to you and is trying to help escort you to safety.
The priest turns to the guard and goes, "You do your job. Do as you are ordered. I must go find those worthy to be broken in the name of Asmodeus."
You know what? At this point, I will let you do a bluff check, and I will let Albrecht do a sense motive check.
11. I know
Albrecht,
all about
Albrecht.
Asmodeus.
Something about this guy, like, you're Kintargan by birth, like the circles you traveled in are Kintargan, but because of your background, because of where you've come from, and because of who you've had to brush shoulders with, this guy reads as intimidating. This guy reads as a commoner would expect an Asmodean priest to act.
It'll be safer for both of us if we leave together, Father.
Would you like to pass a secret message? Because that would be a bluff check to pass a secret message.
I'm gonna try and
I know this isn't your turn technically at this point, but I'm letting it happen because otherwise you guys are going to probably fight each other. Sorry?
my turn's immediately next anyway. So.
That's fair, yeah. So you can. I will say that this counts as a simple message, because I imagine the message you're trying to pass is neither of us are who we're pretending to be. Yeah, it's that kind of message, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically we're both in disguise. Let's leave together.
Cool. All right. Make a bluff check for me. If you succeed, Evie, you don't need to roll. As long as you.
18 on the bluff check.
Okay, cool. Evie, you understand immediately what he's getting at, which is he's clocked you, but also he seems to be in the same boat as you.
Evie is like, "I will take that one," pointing directly at the person who just killed 2 of the things. "I will take that one to the temple." And she's just...
Cool. All right. So is the plan then to go after Gideon? Is that what you guys are doing?
Yep. I double moved.
Cool. I love that. All right. It is immediately Albrecht's turn. Albrecht, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna dash and try and follow. I'm a lot slower than Evie is.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm also making that way.
Cool. All right. You, Sebastian, are putting your switching over. Over to this point. So the Childish Citizen Group member has been basically shoved off of being allowed to do a coup de grace. Is rather grumpy at this fact and sees somebody else who is about to cause a problem. So not necessarily noticing at this point that Gideon has regained consciousness, is going to step over you 5, 10, 15. Cannot get close enough to Asmuth to hit him, but is going to get close enough to hit him on his next turn. Because he still wants to cause some trouble. As the 2 Datari guards, one of them basically keeps a guard out, and the other one, I say, will attempt to grapple you. Well, yeah, seeing you're conscious, they're going to attempt to grapple you to pick you up, Gideon. So, what is the CMB? The CMB is Does a 17 beat your CMD?
Let me see. My CMD is 13. However, my blessing
Hmm.
is
Oh,
under the effect of a freedom of movement spell, so it fails.
hang on, let me double check how that.
Is it concentration? Because you did go unconscious.
Nope. The effect occurs automatically as soon as it applies. She only gets it for certain rounds a day. Also, it is only
My only blessing.
if you're only blessing. Yeah, so what happens is they go to grab you and you immediately just slip out of their hands like soap. They can't get a hold of you. Which very much vexes them. This guy, now annoyed that the person they were fighting just buggered off. It's going to be like, oi, what are you playing at? 10, 20, 30, 40. They're not smart enough to flank, I'll say. Takes their whole move in order to get up to you. And these two guards, I will say, get no, they'll come over as well and basically try to get rid of the trouble over here so far. So 10, 20, 30, 40. Oh no, hang on, what move they got? They do have 30 feet. Yeah. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. In fact, I'll pop them there. As they come over to help with the person that's clearly about to be arrested. Speaking of, Gideon, you are conscious, just about. One of the guards has just tried to grapple you, but you feel the blessing of Cade and Kalian rise through you and you just slip through their fingers. You are still prone on the floor.
Remind me, in Pathfinder, is getting up
Getting up takes half your move action and would provoke an attack of opportunity.
Sure. Don't like that.
I think you can attack from prone, but you will take minuses.
Yeah.
You can also stand up safely, but it's a full round action.
Sure. I mean, I'd rather not just get immediately put on the floor.
Yeah, so a prone attacker. So if you were to attack right now, you would have a -4 on your attack rolls. You also take a -4 penalty to any melee attacks against you while you're on the floor. Oh no, it's not even half your move. It's not even half your move. It's a move action equivalent that provokes a attack of opportunity. If you were to stand up without taking a full round,
I'll take full round action.
so stand up safely.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
All right.
I'll use my blessing for this
Yeah, okay.
round.
Alrighty. Asmoth, your turn.
Right. Gonna whirling dervish. Do
Okay.
2 claw attacks, 1 against each.
All right.
First is against Chuckles to the left,
Okay.
and second is against the one diagonally down.
Yeah. Okay. Well, both of those hit. This one is immediately bloodied and cries out in pain as you slash into them. The other one. What is it with you and taking people to exactly 0? 2 of you have done it now. Yeah, no, he immediately, like, he takes a hit, he immediately starts to look dazed, and like a gentle breeze will blow him over. He's going to be on the floor in a few seconds. Whist, it's your turn.
Okay, well, Whis is feeling even more nervous than he was before because he did this ability, and then this Asmodean priest has walked closer to him, which doesn't feel good. So he's going to move away, probably like here.
Yeah.
But he is still trying to help these guys out. He doesn't think he can take these guys with armor, but he can certainly try and sling this guy.
Okay, do that.
So, yeah, I will try and unsling that one guy. I'm very prepared for this not to hit. 17 to hit.
Which one are you trying to hit?
This guy.
Okay, yeah, that hits him.
Yeah,
He
that
takes-
does 1 point of bludgeoning damage, please.
Yeah, no,
I
that
do
is...
1d3 minus 2, so
yeah, no, you do hit though. Like, he takes a pebble to the temple and like hits us at it as like his head's kind of knocked a little bit. He does take the damage.
yeah, taste it.
And
That's my whole turn.
okay, Whist, not Whist. Sorry, Evie, it's your turn.
Well, things are going better for us than I thought they would be by the time I started coming over here. So, I guess I'll use movement action to get to here, and then I will just spend a standard action being spooky and trying to get as many civilians like who for some reason might still be hanging around away as possible.
Roll an intimidate check then if you're trying to scare people off.
Oh boy, I'm theoretically okay at that.
You are okay at that, as everyone around you who is not a Datari guard shrieks. Even one of the Datari guards looks a little unnerved at your just generally menacing presence. But yeah, a bunch of the people clear out and clear away from you. You probably also intimidate Whist a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's the goal here.
Okay, it is then Albric's turn.
Just slowly trudging behind the priest.
Yeah,
Wait for me.
cool. You're still putting on your outfit. As we get to the baddie's turn, this one makes a withdrawal action, goes this way, immediately bumps into the Asmodean priest, apologizes profusely while backing up, and starts to. So that was.
That one's. I mean, the withdrawal only works for 5 step, right? He's getting a heavy ceremonial chain to the face.
Okay. Roll it. Oh my god! Why are you doing 0? Putting them all to 0. He is about to drop because he is.
The reason we're putting them all to 0 is because we don't want Brazali Thrune to go, you're a bunch of murderers, when we're actively not murdering any of them. They're just dropping to 0 and getting time to stabilize.
Skewered one of them with his rapiers.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm
fair. That's
doing
fair.
my very best to
Cool.
kill fascists.
All right, the other one who was up against Asmoth, tried to swing at you with the mace, falls past you and onto the floor. As he starts to bleed out at your feet. The Datari guards are about to move, except for the fact that the opera door opens again. Like the double doors of the opera house swing open, revealing Nox once again. Hang on, Let me get to my right there. Nox is revealed once again as she brings a friend with her. A friend who you would probably need to make a religion check or a planes check to confirm for sure. But as you see the fire in their maw, the burning coal eyes, and the unholy snarl that comes from their maw, you guys are pretty sure this isn't a regular dog. As he steps out on a very thick chain that Nox is holding. And she reaches down to where his collar is and just goes, Meferi, hunt, and releases the hound. Gideon, what would you like to do? You are muted.
Yeah, on general principle, I want to fight the devil, but there's also a bunch of cops,
Yep.
and my protection from law has dropped, and I have 3 hit points. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Sick. I'm gonna use my blessing for freedom of movement and take a withdraw action. So I assume if I'm under a freedom of movement effect, that I can basically move at full speed through the crowd.
Yep. You ignore the difficult terrain.
Cool. Right. It's movement o'clock, so I move here. So I leave the threatened square. I don't provoke because it's the first square on a withdraw.
Yep.
And I zoom 55 feet this way.
Okay. Does that take you off the map or close enough that
I'm 1 square away from.
Yep. Cool. At this point, you run, you look behind you, and you can see that the Tatari that were going to try and grab you are not following you. They're not even looking to follow you. Like, you have bolted into the crowd, and there are other panicked people that they can round up and arrest. So you are home scot-free. I'm going to take you off the initiative tracker for now. No, I'm not, because I don't know how to. I'll skip for now. Asmoth, your turn.
Okay. Guessing I'm seeing that quite a few. I'll say one person. The person I was going to go help has just got up and cleared off.
You do have expeditious retreat still, don't you? Because that lasts for a minute.
Yeah. Would I have noticed which direction I saw? No, never mind. I think I'm going to put some distance between me and the Hellhound and also these guards.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 6. As I walk past, can I at least get an assessment of the condition of the 2 guys that I've just walked past?
Well, they're both bleeding out on the ground.
Both bleeding on the ground.
Yeah, I'll give you that for free because of your various archetypes.
I probably would actually avoid the guard here, and I'll walk up, just take a moment, and start cleaning the blood off of my hands in the fountain.
All right. Okay, you clean your hands off in the fountain. The fountain's gonna have a little bit of a red tinge in the water after this. Whist, it's your turn.
Well, I made a knowledge religion check and got a 22.
Oh
so
boy,
I'd
I have to pull about
really
don't I?
Yeah, I'd really like to know, particularly how fast this thing can move. Is my main concern.
Well, let me just. Okay. The good news. Oh wait, no, hang on.
No, wait, that's the bad news. The good news is you're already dead, so you don't need to worry about it too
Okay,
long.
cool. No, it's fine. This won't trigger because it's difficult terrain still, so they can't run.
Good.
Which is the fact that you know that because they're a quadruped, they are swift of foot, and when they do run faster than you. They will outpace you if you were in a one-to-one sprint. They would outpace a medium-sized creature if they were in a one-to-one sprint. Luckily, they can't do that, and they do have to move through the difficult terrain. They do, however, have a base speed of 40 feet.
So they're moving 40 feet a turn if they move and dash.
If they move and dash, which you have no idea how they're going to move right now, if they use all of their if they use their entire turn moving, they can move 40 feet through this crowd.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, it's like a bit cool. So, how many people? Like, a lot of people have got out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any area where people are trying to get out, but there's like a choke point or somewhere I can help them get out before this thing starts to kill?
Honestly, at this point, the Hellhound alone is probably doing what you want to do, just by sheer fear. Like, the fire came out, and everybody who was still straggling around and like kind of jostling and stuff has just started to peel away, like almost in perfect sync. The perfect sync being that of panic, but they are leaving in all directions. They're going. They're going past the fountain. They're going out on either side of the opera house. They're moving around the lake. They are clearing out.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Expeditious Retreat on myself,
Okay.
where I think it's time to expeditiously retreat.
It might be.
Yeah, so I am going to. So that's an action, but then I get to move double.
No, you get to move
which
30
no,
feet.
it's not double.
You
How much? 20.
It increases your baseline speed by 30 feet, which means you move 50 feet as your baseline speed. So what it would be is it
Cool.
would actually
25 feet.
Yeah.
So
because you're
I'm
still in
going to
difficult terrain.
Yeah, I'm going to head after the person who I saw took a massive beating and has got up and run away because I think they might need some healing.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I'm not out high and dry yet, but I'm going to keep to this tree line and book it after that person.
Awesome. Evie, what would you like to do?
It seems like the rabble rousers have been dealt with. I will head back to the temple.
Cool. Albrecht, what are you doing?
I think I'm gonna take a step towards Asmuth and say quietly to him, "I am a paladin. Come with me if you want to live." And then I'm gonna attempt to like mime dragging him away.
Okay. Will you let him mind drag you away, Asmus?
Immediate suspicion at the word paladin. No.
Because basically, if you agree to let him drag you away, you guys can leave together. If you resist, you guys are going to be doing CMB and CMD checks against each other.
So I've just had somebody dressed up like the Datari.
Yeah.
Come up and say, "I'm a paladin. Come with me if you want to live." Whilst
Yes.
I've just
Yeah,
seen
it doesn't
Datari.
sound super.
You can roll the sense motive if you want to see
Yeah,
if he's telling the truth.
I'm going to attempt a sense motive.
Okay, that's enough to tell you this person is not lying.
Okay.
Because at this moment, Albrecht is being entirely honest. Like, they are in a disguise. but you sense no falsehood from them.
Then I will. Yeah, I'll follow. I'll let them lead me away then.
All right. So you kind of you hand on shoulder, start leading away. Brilliant. Sebastian, you heard what was left of the crowd give out an unholy shriek as an even unholier growl followed and kind of reverberates down the street while you are still putting on your uniform.
Excellent. Well, I mean, I'm clearly needed. I'll be there in but 4 or 5 rounds now.
4 or 5 rounds? I think it's 4 rounds at this point.
Like,
Um,
clearly, I'll be instrumental in this combat.
yeah. So at this point, none of the guards specifically are going to try to hound, like, you are far enough away from most of the guards that it's going to be an effort for any of them to specifically find you. So at this point, one of the people who took down a bunch of the challenge citizens has already run. The other one has taken down a bunch of challenge citizens. It's in the hands of, is already in custody as far as they're concerned at a quick glance, so they're not going to bother with them. They start turning to like the immediate people around them and basically start trying to arrest them, which means that you guys all have the opportunity to just get away safely at this point if you so wish. Unless there is anything else in particular you want to do in this fight.
It depends how far I am, to be honest.
What I would say is once you've broken away from the park, there is like the crowd has bolted enough, like they've bolt holed in whatever direction that they can. So as soon as you're out of the park, the difficult terrain very much has stopped. And if you guys leave in a similar direction, you guys will all be able to spot each other fairly easily. The only one of you won't be able to is Sebastian because he went in the other direction.
So that's fine.
Okay.
I have a meeting planned in a pub with a tiefling. It's going to
You
be
do have a meeting
Yeah,
planned in the pub with the tiefling.
I was going to say too. This supposed paladin that's rescuing me, like I need to go to the.
It was the clenched jaw.
Clenched draw.
Clenched jaw.
Clenched jaw. Right.
Yeah.
I heard something else entirely and went, this is an artsy town. I wouldn't be surprised if it's
No, it's not an Nazi town. That's the point. It's specifically not a Nazi town. It's just a town in a Nazi country.
No, artsy.
Oh, I thought it said Nazi. Oh,
No.
God. All right. Artsy. It is a Nazi town. That's fair. All right. So, yeah.
As I'm running out, these 2 guys that are ahead of me and now looking for random citizens to arrest, just while they're incidentally there to show they're doing their job. As I'm running away, I'd like to throw some dancing lights in their eyes just to give some people a bit more chance to escape. Just like, again, a slight bamboozling, maybe get 2 or 3 people a chance to run away.
You can instigate some more chaos for sure as you leave.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
there
you can definitely do that.
And then I'm gonna run, but I'm gonna curve because I've noticed, unfortunately, that this Asmodean priest has loudly declared they're going back to the temple, and for some reason they just seem to be taking this really bizarre route to the temple. But okay, and
Don't
I'm
ask
going
why
to
they
sort of
came
like
from the lake. We don't.
yeah. I'm gonna arc and try and avoid them, and still try and get to this this person who looks really fucking beaten up.
Cool. All right. What I will say is, Gideon, when you got out of the park and you were away from the immediate guards, would you have kept going, or would you have kind of like slowed down and taken stock of what's around you?
I'd have probably tried to find a like an alleyway.
Okay.
I'd basically just stop and take 5 in.
Cool. I will then say that conveniently and without much, like a little bit of searching, but not to the point where I need you to do a roll. Those of you who saw Gideon go down and therefore like either looking for him or like are like keeping an eye out for him, who went in that direction, so everybody who went off the left-hand side of the map is able to see Gideon just kind of leaning in an alley, like kind of nursing his wounds and catching his breath. So I believe that is Asmuth, Albric, Evie, who I think is still an Asmodean priest, unless that disguise gets dropped anytime soon.
I've got it for like another 40 minutes.
You do, if you want it for that time.
I'm definitely like heading away from the park before, like as soon as I'm in the alley, then I change. But before that, I'm
Cool.
the Asmodean priest all the way.
All right, cool. So what I will say is, based on how you guys moved, either Evie or Whist gets the chance to find Gideon first. Looking at when you guys got off the map.
I mean, I would say if Evie finds him first, I don't like that's fine. I don't know
You know what?
this will do.
You know what? I'm gonna roll for it. I'm gonna roll for it.
Yes.
Once Evie finds him first, Evans Whist finds him first. And I'm just gonna roll a d4. So Evie finds him first. No, sorry, not Evie. Sorry, I said odds Evie. So Whist finds him first. So Whist,
Okay.
you kind of are scampering through the streets. You kind of get to this alleyway. You look out towards the street. You look into the alleyway, and you see Gideon leaning up against the wall, nursing his wounds.
I'll go over, and I'll say, you're right down there. You took a bit of a beating, I think. I've got a healing potion. That it's a bit old, but you're welcome to it if you want it.
I'd like to roll sense motive.
Sure, go ahead. Are you being entirely honest?
Yeah, it's a bit old.
You get exactly what you get from Whist.
Yeah.
I'll hand you a healing potion that's got like a sort of, it's in a sort of like classic vial bottle, but there's like a sort of orangey residue where like the healing potion is separated over the course of like a few months, and it'll just be like it's fine. That you just shake it and that'll all mix together. Sorry, I'm not like I'm not an alchemist, so it's what I've got. You know, I'm not.
Puts his
It's
hand
not really
up,
my skill set.
shakes it, will take the lid off and say, "Good health to you in every glass," and drink it. This person
It's a normal cure wounds potion,
Yeah,
so I think it's like 1d8 plus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, Whist, would you like to make a knowledge religion check for me?
Yeah, I'll certainly try.
How much do I owe you?
Nothing. Why would you owe me anything?
That's some real good healing. Cool. So that toast that he just gave you, you tend to find a lot in you hear it a lot. You've heard it a lot in the taverns that you frequented, specifically the taverns that have symbols of Cade and Kaelian above the bar.
Yeah, I'll say. You go down to the name a pub. The Pig and Farthing a lot then, do you?
No. I'm often at such places, though.
Oh well, yeah. No, I've been down a couple of times. Seemed like a good lot there. So yeah, sure. Good health. I'll get out some tea. It's not particularly hard. Sorry. So I'll give him a cheers and like neck it like vodka. Like it's it's just like a small, like rose hip tea, and I'll just neck it. Yeah.
And as you do that, an Asmodean priest turns the corner of the alley.
Like,
And
do I
drops
see
the
this?
sword.
So you because of the way that you came in, basically, if you are facing Gideon, you don't. If you're facing sideways, you might.
Okay.
Gideon definitely sees the Asmodean priest step into the alley.
And drops to the sword.
Like you see the like sort of it sort of melts away, and you have like this slightly petite human woman who just takes the white flat cap off her head and just like, oof. I am not using that disguise ever again. The voice you have to do is so deep.
I'll turn around at this point and I'll be like, "Oh,
That's,
hi.
that person was the
Hi."
Hellish Inquisitor.
Well, just removes the bloody knuckle duster and just sort of wipes it. Yeah, for a moment it looked like you were in trouble. But you seem fine now. But
Yes.
yeah.
Thanks to. I'm sorry. What's your name, my friend?
Oh, sorry. Yes, Evie Sisson.
Sorry, that was addressed to Whist.
That's all right. Like, Whist kind of stands back and assumes you're addressing Evie as well, and then we'll be like, "Oh, right, no, I'm Whist. Yeah, I'm a apprentice wizard. Just thought I'd go see what the fuss was about, and got a bit spirited, didn't it? Were you there, Miss Evie? Was it?
I think you'll find if any of the guards are questioned, they never saw anyone like me in that melee.
Oh well, that's good then. Yeah. Well, I'm pleased for you.
Just to be clear, you oppose the Chelish expansion to the city, and you oppose the tyrant Barzilay Thrune.
Yeah, I mean, well, Cheliax is a complicated issue, but the new guy has to go.
What do you mean? He's doing such a great job. You know, wine doesn't drink itself, does it? Anyway, come on. I'll give you an arm up, Gideon. I'm very short, so it doesn't really help. But the effort is there, and I'll say you didn't introduce yourself.
Gideon.
Ah, well, all right, pleasure.
Right, let's
Shall we?
find a tavern far away from here. This day is not a good one.
So I will say at this point, as you guys step closer to the alley, you're able to see a familiar hooded figure who you did see in the melee. Is Albrecht still in his guard disguise?
Probably have shed most of it by now, so just
Cool.
like in armor, but a lot of the like distinguishing features have been taken off. So he's taken off his helmet.
Okay, so you guys see the hooded figure from before next to a heavily armored person who you don't recognize. They look fairly new to this whole deal. Although they do also look rather tired and like they've been standing out in the sun in heavy armor all day. At this point, I will say that Sebastian has been able to don his outfit, has gotten back to the park in time to see Nox whistling a hellhound to her heel and putting a chain back on him as twice the amount of Datari from when you originally were here are currently rounding up every remaining person in the park.
Awesome. Obviously, we're very close to the end of the session.
Yeah.
Is there any way that I can at least save one person, grab someone from the edges and abscond with them across the rooftops, where it'd be very difficult for a dog to pursue us.
So not across rooftops because these are all civilians, but you can very much grab a civilian, duck away from the park, and basically start weaving through city alleyways.
Yep.
With this kind of person under your cloak, as it were.
Perfect.
And I will say at this point, because it is the end of the session and I want to get you all in one place next time, that at the point when you guys step out near the alleyway and see Asmuth and Alberic kind of walking down the street, there is a tumble of footsteps behind you as you turn around and describe your vigilante for us.
Oh well, it's just very simple. Like I'm like maybe a 6'2", slightly angelic being with feathers for hair. Totally normal.
Just a regular.
With a very scared looking 5-foot-something petite femme person hidden under their cloak as this angelic being charges around the corner and meets all of your eyes. And I'm gonna
We should go.
and we'll call it that. Because I'm conscious it's nearly 10:30 and that was our hard cap.
Top session.
Thank you.
Good fun.
Delightful.
Welcome to Hell's Rebels. Welcome to Hell's Rebels. Welcome to the Aria Park protest that was about as violent as I think you all expected it to be. Despite the memes to the contrary. We're going to wrap up quickly because we were planning on finishing at 10:30 and it's a couple of minutes to now. So thank you very much to everybody who's been watching and listening along, and thank you very much to everybody who's been donating. I'm going to check now. Oh my god, we got so we already got donations from Ella and Claire before the session, so thank you to you two, and thank you to Gareth and Kyle for donating during the game. It's very appreciated. And we hope to be back with you in a couple of weeks. Ready for the next session of Hell's Rebels and to see what you guys find next in the alleys of Kintargo.
Hype.
Hype.
Hype indeed.
Nice. Thank you for running.
Thank you very much for playing. That went. I'm really glad with how that went, especially since it got very hairy with that crit, that lucky crit I got on Thursday.